God's chosen ones, what's coming will change everything. This is the final step. Have you ever felt that the world around you is unraveling faster than you can understand? Have you ever caught yourself wondering if all the chaos, the fear, the silence from heaven is really a warning? What if everything you once trusted is about to be shaken to its core? Tonight, you're not just listening to another voice on the internet. You're standing at a crossroads, a moment chosen by heaven long before you were even born. This is no accident. You were led here. You were summoned. The unseen hand of God has been orchestrating every delay, every closed door, every heartbreak to bring you right here, right now. You are about to see what few have dared to see. Imagine standing at the edge of a world that looks familiar, but feels completely different. Imagine hearing whispers of something coming, something so profound it will divide time itself into before and after. Throughout history, moments like these have changed everything. When Noah built the ark, the skies were still clear. When Moses stood at the Red Sea, there was no path in sight. When David faced Goliath, the giant still roared. Faith was their weapon. Obedience was their anchor. And now it is your turn. Can you feel it? The spiritual atmosphere tightening, the unseen realms shifting, the call growing louder in your spirit. This is no time for passive faith. This is the final preparation. The earth is groaning, heaven is aligning, the chosen ones are rising. But here's the chilling truth. Not everyone will make it. Not everyone will endure what's coming. And if you think you can hide in the shadows, the storm will find you anyway. Because what's coming isn't just another change, it's a reckoning. It's the unveiling. It's the final step. Are you ready? Because heaven is not waiting anymore. You were being built in silence for a storm only heaven saw coming. The signs have been speaking, but have you truly been listening? Long before the headlines began to scream disaster, long before the streets fell into confusion, long before the air itself grew heavy with dread, the heavens have been sending warnings. Quiet at first, almost ignorable, like the faint tremor before a coming quake. But now, the signals are undeniable. They are in the wind, in the earth, in the shaking foundations of everything humanity once called secure. You can see it everywhere if you dare to look beyond the surface. Nature itself is groaning. Storms more violent, seasons more unpredictable, fires that devour entire cities overnight. Economies once considered invincible, crumbling like sandcastles against a rising tide. Governments falling into disarray, alliances cracking, nations trembling under the weight of their own corruption. A darkness thickens in the spirit realm, one that even the most hardened hearts can no longer deny. But the signs are not limited to the chaos outside. They are etched into the human soul. An unexplainable unease waking people from their sleepwalking lives. A deep, gnawing hunger for something real, something eternal, something more than the empty promises of this world. It is as if the human spirit itself senses the final act approaching. As if creation itself is holding its breath, waiting for something, someone to rise. And what about you? Have you felt the restless stirring in your spirit, the dreams that come unbidden in the night, the moments of sudden clarity where you realize the clock is ticking faster than anyone admits? You are not imagining it, you are hearing the call, you are sensing the tremors of the final shaking. Hebrews 12:26-27 has already foretold it. Yet once more I will shake not only the earth but also the heavens, so that what cannot be shaken may remain. The first time the world was shaken, it was with water. In the days of Noah, humanity had grown deaf to the warnings. They laughed at the idea of judgment. They mocked Noah's ark as the ravings of a madman. They ate, drank, married, and built their empires on the sand, never believing the sky could crack open in fury. But it did. The flood came, sudden and unstoppable, washing away everything that was not anchored in obedience. And here we stand again, repeating history with frightening precision, distracted by pleasure, blinded by pride, numbed by endless entertainment, a world asleep while the storm clouds gather. But you, chosen one, you are different. You feel it, you know it. That unease you cannot shake is not fear, it is the whisper of destiny, the call to prepare. This is not fear-mongering, this is truth-telling. What's coming is not merely hardship, it is a spiritual event of cataclysmic proportions. It is the final alignment, the final separation between what is eternal and what is temporary, between those who have built on the rock and those who have built on sand, between those who have surrendered their lives to the Creator and those still clinging to their crumbling kingdoms of self. Can you sense it yet? The air charged with something unseen, like the static before a lightning strike. The earth itself seems to pulse with anticipation, the very molecules trembling under the weight of what approaches. There will be a day, sooner than most realize, when the veil between the physical and the spiritual thins to the breaking point. And when it happens, everything will change. Not everyone will be ready. Many will cry out too late. Many will seek shelter where there is none to be found. Many will finally realize that their castles of comfort, their towers of ambition, their idols of pleasure were nothing but sandcastles before the incoming tide. And in that moment, the true nature of every heart will be revealed. Where will you be standing? What foundation will hold you when everything else falls? Because understand this, the shaking is not coming to destroy you. It is coming to reveal you, to reveal who you truly are, to awaken the slumbering fire within you, to strip away every false identity, every fear, every chain that ever dared to hold you back from your destiny. The final shaking will not come with fanfare. It will come like a thief in the night, sudden and overwhelming. One moment life will seem normal, the next everything will change. Jesus himself warned us in Matthew 24:37-39 that it would be just as it was in the days of Noah. They knew nothing until the flood came and swept them all away. They ignored the signs until it was too late. Will you? The shaking is the mercy of God. It is his final invitation, his last great act of grace before the final separation. He is not sending the storm to destroy his chosen. He is sending it to awaken them, to forge them, to position them. You see, in the chaos, the world will finally recognize the light. In the darkness, the carriers of truth will shine brightest. When everything collapses, the unshakable ones will rise. But it will not happen by accident. It will not happen through casual belief or lukewarm faith. It will require a decision so fierce, so complete, that it rewires the very fabric of your soul. It will require surrender so deep it feels like dying, and in many ways it will be. Dying to the old self, dying to fear, dying to compromise. Only then can resurrection power flood your life. The final shaking is not a punishment for the chosen, it is a crowning. It is the revealing of those who carry the heartbeat of heaven within their chests. It is the birthing of a new breed of leaders, not polished, not popular, but pure, not perfect, but surrendered, not seeking applause, but seeking alignment with the King of Kings. And so I ask you again, can you feel it? Can you sense the invisible line being drawn even now, dividing the surrendered from the undecided? Can you hear the drumbeat in the spirit, the call to rise, to be counted, to be ready? This is not a warning meant to terrify. It is a wake-up call meant to ignite. You were not born for comfort. You were born for glory, because what's coming will not leave anyone untouched. It will confront every soul with a choice, to stand firm in faith or to be swept away by fear, to step into destiny or to cling to decay, to trust in the unseen hand of God or to drown in the illusions of man. The time for casual faith has ended. The time for radical, all-consuming surrender has come. There is a storm coming, but for those who are prepared, it will not be the end. It will be the beginning. The unveiling of the sons and daughters of God that all creation has been groaning for. Romans 8:19 says it plainly, "For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed." The time is now. The final shaking is not meant to destroy you, it is meant to reveal you. The only question left is this: when the storm breaks and the heavens roar, will you be ready to rise? The weight you feel isn't breaking you, it's awakening you. The unstable earth. There comes a moment in every generation when the invisible becomes undeniable. A moment when the unseen hand of God presses so close to the earth that even those who claim not to believe feel the shift in the atmosphere. We are standing on the threshold of that moment right now, and whether you are ready or not, the crossing is happening. The old world you once knew is crumbling. Systems once thought indestructible are collapsing from within. Institutions once revered are being exposed for the hollow structures they are. And in the midst of the collapse, a question rises louder than the noise of the falling empires. Who will you be when the dust settles? Will you be among the shaken or among the unshakable? The chosen ones are not immune to the shaking, but they are transformed by it. They are not the ones who panic when the world trembles. They are the ones who stand firm, whose eyes are not fixed on the chaos but on the King. Their roots go deeper than fear. Their hope burns brighter than the fires of destruction. And it is through the fire that they are revealed for who they truly are. Think back through the ancient pages of history, when the world faced moments of reckoning and only a few stood unflinching. Think of Daniel, surrounded by a culture that mocked his God, yet refusing to bow. Think of Esther, standing before a king who could end her life with a single word, yet risking everything to save her people. Think of Elijah, confronting the false prophets of Baal when the entire nation had turned away from truth. These were not superheroes. They were ordinary men and women who carried an extraordinary flame within them. And when their moment came, they chose faith over fear, destiny over comfort, surrender over survival. That same decision now stands before you. You must understand, the final step will not be about survival alone. It will be about transformation. You were not called to simply endure the shaking. You were called to be refined by it, to emerge from it carrying a weight of glory you never imagined possible. This is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your unveiling. And yet, even now, many will hesitate. Even now, many will cling to the crumbling ruins of what was, hoping somehow to rebuild what God Himself is tearing down. They will grasp for the old systems, the old comforts, the old illusions, refusing to let go. And in doing so, they will miss the miracle unfolding right in front of them. Because the shaking is not the enemy. The shaking is the invitation. It is the hand of God dismantling every false foundation, clearing the rubble, making room for something new, something holy, something eternal. But only those willing to lose everything will be able to step into the new. Only those willing to release the dead weight of old mindsets, old fears, old attachments will soar into the destiny they were created for. This is the cost of being chosen. This is the price of carrying the light in a world that loves the dark. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you approval. It will cost you certainty. But what you gain in exchange will be beyond measure. You will gain clarity when others are lost in confusion. You will gain strength when others collapse under pressure. You will gain purpose so deep and so fierce that no storm, no persecution, no loss will be able to take it from you. that first you must decide. You must choose your foundation now, before the ground begins to split beneath your feet. You must anchor yourself, not in what the world says is secure, but in what God says is eternal. You must build your life on the unshakable rock of His Word, His promises, His presence. And if you think you can delay this decision, if you think you can wait until the shaking grows louder to choose where you stand, you are already being deceived. The shaking has already begun. The separation is already happening. The line is being drawn, soul by soul, choice by choice, moment by moment. The Spirit of God is moving like a wildfire across the earth, igniting hearts, waking sleepers, calling the chosen out of the shadows and into the light. The prodigals are hearing the call home. The wounded are finding healing. The silent are finding their voices. And the faithful, the few who said yes when no one else would, are being prepared to lead the way. You see, leadership in this new era will not look like leadership as the world has known it. It will not be about titles, followers, or fame. It will be about sacrifice. It will be about unseen faithfulness. It will be about carrying the weight of God's heart into places of devastation and rebuilding what has been torn down. Are you ready for that kind of leadership? Are you willing to be misunderstood, mocked, even hated for the sake of truth? Are you willing to walk into darkness not to be swallowed by it, but to pierce it with light? Because that is the calling resting on the shoulders of the chosen. That is the mantle being offered to you now. But remember this, it is not your strength that will sustain you. It is not your wisdom that will guide you. It is not your qualifications that will anoint you. It is the Spirit of the living God, breathing through you, moving within you, fighting for you. As Zechariah 4:6 declares, "Not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, says the Lord Almighty." The coming storm will expose every counterfeit. It will strip away every mask. It will reveal every hidden motive. And when the dust settles, only those who have anchored themselves in God will remain standing. Only those who have said yes to the refining fire will carry the authority to rebuild. This is your moment to decide. Will you be among the shaken or among the unshakable? Will you cling to the fading or step boldly into the eternal? Will you choose the safety of the familiar or the adventure of faith? Heaven is not looking for perfection. Heaven is looking for your yes. And hear me, you do not need to have it all figured out. You do not need to be fearless. You do not need to know every step. You simply need to answer the call. You simply need to lift your eyes above the noise, above the fear, above the crumbling structures of this world, and fix them on the one who never changes. Because in the end, only one thing will matter, not how much you built for yourself, not how loudly you shouted your opinions, not how many followed you, but whether you stood faithful when the shaking came, whether you stood firm when the winds howled, whether you trusted when trust cost you everything. And so I ask you one last time, when the final step unfolds and the last shaking comes, will you be ready? Will you rise? The world is waiting for your answer. When the world shakes, only what's rooted in love will stand. You see, there is a pattern woven deep into the history of God's movements across the earth. It is never the strong who are called first. It is never the confident who are most trusted. It is the willing, the broken, the ones who have tasted the bitterness of the world and still choose to believe in a promise bigger than themselves. You are part of that pattern now. Whether you realize it yet or not, you are standing in the lineage of those who said yes when it would have been easier to say nothing. Think back to Gideon, trembling in a winepress, hiding from enemies he believed too mighty to defeat. When the angel of the Lord appeared to him, Gideon's first reaction was doubt. "Who am I?" he asked. "My clan is the weakest, and I am the least in my family." And yet God called him mighty warrior. not because of what Gideon had done, but because of what he would dare to believe. That same question echoes now into your own spirit. Who are you to lead? Who are you to rise? And the answer is simple. You are the one who said yes. The coming days will test the strength of that yes. The world will mock it. The enemy will attack it. Doubt will whisper at every turn. But if you hold your ground, if you cling to the word God has spoken over your life, you will become a force the darkness cannot withstand. Because this next move of God will not be about building monuments. And here is the deeper truth. The greatest battles are not fought in public. They are waged in the secret places of the heart. They are fought on quiet mornings when no one sees you crying out to God. They are fought in the lonely nights when the weight of your calling feels unbearable. They are fought in the tiny, almost invisible decisions to obey when compromise would be so much easier. In those moments, heaven leans in. The angels take notice. The hosts of heaven mark the ones who will not bow, who will not break, who will not sell their birthright for a fleeting taste of comfort. You may not feel like a warrior right now. You may feel fragile, unqualified, uncertain. But faith has never been about feeling strong. Faith has always been about feeling forward anyway. Every generation has its defining moments, its turning points where destinies are forged in the fires of decision. And history will remember this generation as one that stood at the edge of the old world and chose either compromise or consecration. You have been born into this hour on purpose, not randomly, not by mistake. Heaven selected the timing of your life with surgical precision. You are not a spectator, you are a participant in the greatest unfolding story humanity has ever known. And the urgency of the hour cannot be overstated. Every delay, every hesitation, every excuse only gives the enemy more ground to occupy. The world is not waiting for another speech. It is waiting for a demonstration of power, of love, of holy conviction. A remnant is rising. These chosen ones will walk with a different spirit, like Caleb and Joshua, who saw the giants in the land and did not shrink back. They will see with eyes of faith when others see with fear. They will move when others freeze. They will believe when others mock. And because of their obedience, territories will be claimed, strongholds will fall, miracles will erupt in impossible places. But understand this, before God sends you to confront the giants out there, He will confront the giants within you. Fear, insecurity, pride, doubt. Every hidden idol will be brought into the light, not to shame you, but to set you free. You cannot carry old chains into a new calling. You cannot step into promised lands with wilderness mentalities still clinging to your soul. The preparation may feel brutal at times. It may feel like everything you depended on is being stripped away. Friendships may dissolve, resources may dry up, opportunities may vanish. Do not be deceived by what looks like loss. Heaven never subtracts without the intention to multiply. Every pruning is a prelude to greater fruit. Every closed door is a redirection towards something higher. And so the question remains, will you trust Him when the preparation hurts? Will you praise Him when the platform is hidden? Will you obey Him when obedience costs you everything you thought you needed to survive? Because here's the reality, when the unveiling comes, when the final shaking splits open the heavens and earth, it will be too late to prepare. You will either be ready or you will not. Your heart will either be anchored or adrift. Your spirit will either burn with holy fire or suffocate under the weight of compromise. This is why the Spirit of God is stirring you so violently right now. This is why you feel the urgency pressing against your chest like an invisible weight. It is not anxiety, it is acceleration. It is the preparation for the moment you were born to face. You will not face it alone. The same God who called Gideon from fear, who raised Esther from obscurity, who pulled Peter from the sea when his faith wavered, that same God is with you now. The battle is not yours to win, it is yours to enter. The victory has already been secured, but He is asking for your yes. He is asking for your trust. He is asking for your life, not in pieces, not in part, but in whole. And if you will give it, if you will lay yourself fully on the altar of His will, you will become a living weapon in His hands. You will become the answer to someone's desperate prayer. You will become the lighthouse guiding shipwrecked souls back to safe harbor. Do you hear it now? The deep call resounding through the storm? The invitation not just to survive but to reign? Not just to endure but to embody the unshakable kingdom of God. It is rising, it is roaring, and it is waiting for you. Will you answer? Will you rise? Because the final step is not coming someday in the distant future. The final step has already begun, and heaven is holding its breath, waiting to see who will move. You are not losing everything. You are being positioned for destiny. There is a sacred tension building in the spirit realm, a pull so strong that even the most oblivious souls can feel the shift in the atmosphere. It is not a tension of fear, but of fierce expectation, like the final breath before the storm breaks open the sky. You can sense it in the way time feels thinner now, the way conversations turn toward deeper things without warning, the way even the most hardened hearts pause for a moment longer when the subject of purpose arises. Heaven is closer than it has ever been before, and those who are attuned to the Spirit can feel the nearness like fire under their skin. In this hour, the division between those who walk by sight and those who walk by faith will become unmistakable. The ones who have anchored their hope in temporary things will find themselves tossed about like leaves in the wind. But those who have built their lives on the rock will not be moved. They will stand like ancient oaks, unshaken by the fury of the storm. They will not merely survive, they will thrive in the shaking because their roots go down into something deeper than circumstance, deeper than systems, deeper than anything the world can touch. This is the moment the remnant was prepared for. Every unseen act of obedience, every quiet prayer in the dark, every tear cried when no one else was watching. It all mattered. It all built something eternal inside of you, something that cannot be faked and cannot be taken away. In a world obsessed with appearances, the chosen ones carry an authenticity that cuts through the noise like a sword. And in the days to come, that authenticity will be the currency of the kingdom. People will not be drawn to charisma anymore. They will be drawn to conviction. They will not follow those with the loudest platforms. They will follow those with the deepest wells. They will not seek entertainers. They will seek those whose lives radiate a peace that no storm can extinguish. And make no mistake, you have been called to be one of them, but do not expect the world to celebrate you for it. In fact, the closer you walk with God, the more alien you will feel among those who have sold their souls for temporary comfort. You will feel the ache of separation, the loneliness that comes from carrying a different spirit. You will be misunderstood, criticized, even attacked by those who sense the light in you but do not know how to handle it. You must prepare your heart for this, not with bitterness, but with fierce compassion. Because remember, they are not your enemies. They are captives. They are prisoners of a dying system, blinded by a false light that promises freedom but delivers only chains. And your presence, your unwavering love, your unshakable peace, it will be the very thing that stirs their hunger for more. Do not harden your heart against them. Stand ready to receive them when the shaking brings them to their knees. There is a reason why God has allowed you to walk through the fires you have endured. There is a reason why He has permitted the crushing, the breaking, the seasons of hiddenness that made no sense to your natural mind. He was not punishing you, He was preparing you, because only those who have been broken can carry the kind of glory that is about to be poured out. Only those who have been emptied can be trusted to carry something so sacred without turning it into a monument to themselves. The mantle you are being offered is not light. It is heavy with the weight of heaven's heart. It is soaked in the prayers of generations. It is infused with the blood of the martyrs, the songs of the prophets, the dreams of the saints who saw this moment from afar and longed to be part of it. They ran their race faithfully. They passed the baton. Now it is in your hands. Will you carry it? Will you run your race without looking back, without slowing down, without selling out? Because there are souls attached to your obedience. There are lives hanging in the balance, waiting for your yes. You may never know their names. You may never hear their stories. But heaven knows, heaven sees, and heaven has woven their deliverance into your destiny. This is not about building your own kingdom. It is about advancing His. It is not about making your name known. It is about making His name famous in the earth. Every gift you carry, every dream in your heart, every resource placed in your hands, they were never meant to terminate on you. They were meant to flow through you like a river, bringing life to dry places, hope to broken hearts, and restoration to ruined cities. And you must understand, the enemy knows this. That is why the attacks against you have felt so personal, so relentless. He fears what you will become if you ever fully awaken to who you are. He fears what will happen if you ever truly rise. Because he knows that one fully surrendered life can shift atmospheres, break generational curses, and ignite movements that outlast lifetimes. You are not small. You are not insignificant. You are a carrier of divine destiny, a vessel of eternal glory. The same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead dwells inside you, breathing life into your bones, setting fire to your purpose, calling you into the battle for the souls of men. And the time is shorter than you think. The countdown has already begun. The world will not be as it was. The illusions are crumbling. The kingdoms of man are shaking, and the King is preparing to reveal himself in ways the world has never seen before. Every sign points to it. Lift your eyes, chosen one. Lift your head. Do not be distracted by the noise. Do not be paralyzed by the fear. The Lamb who was slain is roaring like a lion. The heavens are trembling with anticipation, and the earth itself groans for the revealing of the sons and daughters of God. You are not waiting for revival, you are revival. You are the answered prayer of generations. You are the light rising in the darkness, and the world, whether it knows it yet or not, desperately needs what you carry. So rise. Rise without apology. Rise without fear. Rise without waiting for the approval of men, because heaven has already approved you. Heaven has already anointed you. Heaven has already appointed you for such a time as this. And the final step is not somewhere out there in the distance. It is here. It is now. It is you. They forgot you, but heaven never looked away. There is a stirring taking place beneath the surface of everything you see. A rumbling, not with human noise, but with holy momentum. What the world calls uncertainty is actually the unraveling of false foundations. What the world calls collapse is actually the clearing of the stage for the greatest revealing heaven has ever orchestrated. And those who have spiritual eyes are beginning to see it. Those who have spiritual ears are beginning to hear the faint roar of destiny surging closer with every passing hour. This is not imagination. This is not a distant hope. This is the acceleration of prophecy into living reality. In moments like this, God does not call the loudest. He calls the willing. He does not anoint the self-important. He anoints the surrendered. He bypasses the towers built by ego and rests His glory on the tents of those who still dare to kneel. And you, chosen one, you are feeling the pull because your spirit recognizes the sound of your assignment rising. It is the sound of heaven's army assembling. It is the vibration of promises long spoken, now rising into fulfillment. And yet, With every move of God there comes a cost. That cost will not be measured in dollars or applause. It will be measured in your willingness to let go of everything that cannot rise with you. You see, you cannot carry yesterday's fears into tomorrow's freedom. You cannot cling to old mindsets and expect to walk through new doors. You cannot remain attached to dead relationships, expired assignments, or safe excuses and still expect to ascend the mountain of the Lord. Psalm 24 asks a piercing question. Who may ascend the mountain of the Lord? Who may stand in his holy place? The one who has clean hands and a pure heart, the one who does not trust in an idol or swear by a false god. This call to ascend is not an invitation to comfort, it is a summons to consecration. And consecration is not a trendy word, it is a fierce reality. It means being set apart even when it hurts. It means choosing obedience over opinion. It means walking away from what is popular in order to stand firm in what is holy. The shaking you are feeling internally is not random, it is not emotional instability, it is the Spirit of God, separating soul from spirit, truth from deception, purpose from distraction. You are being stripped down not to leave you naked, but to clothe you in power. You are being emptied, not to leave you hollow, but to make room for the fullness of what is about to be poured into you. Every detour, every closed door, every painful pruning has not been punishment, it has been preparation. You may wonder why the journey has been so long. You may question why the fires have been so hot, why the wilderness seasons have been so lonely. But hear this clearly. God was never late. He was never absent. He was never ignoring you. He was forming you. Because what you are about to carry cannot be sustained by shallow faith. It demands a depth that only the desert can produce. It demands a resilience that only the fire can forge. And now, the moment is almost upon you. The doors are groaning on their hinges, the heavens are opening their floodgates. The trumpet blasts are echoing through the spirit realm, summoning the ready, the willing, the ones who have been purified by process and made bold by brokenness. You are not stepping into a season, you are stepping into a fulfillment, and with it will come acceleration unlike anything you have ever experienced. Opportunities will appear without warning. Connections divinely orchestrated will form seemingly overnight. Resources will be released from unexpected places. Favor will wrap around you like a cloak, not because you chased it, but because you chased him. And yet, even as the external doors open, the internal testing will continue, because the enemy knows he cannot stop what God has started, so he will attempt to sabotage it through distraction, division, and deception. You must be vigilant. You must guard your heart with greater intensity than ever before. You must anchor your identity not in the success of the assignment, but in the love of the Father. Because success without intimacy is still failure. Gifting without character is still ruin. Influence without surrender is still emptiness. You are not being sent to build an empire, you are being sent to host His presence. And His presence demands purity. You must choose daily to recalibrate your spirit, to silence the noise of the crowd, to drown out the whisper of fear, to tune your ear to the frequency of heaven. The closer you walk with Him, the stranger you will feel to the world. And that is how it should be. You are not called to blend in. You are called to be a burning lamp, a blazing standard, a living witness that there is still a God in Israel who rules and reigns with all authority. This means you will have to walk away from some tables. You will have to refuse some invitations. You will have to decline some offers that glitter with opportunity but reek of compromise. Every decision will either align you with heaven's flow or divert you into man's agenda. Choose wisely. The stakes are too high. The hour is too late. The cost of compromise is no longer small. It is eternal. And yet, the reward for faithfulness is beyond imagination. 1 Corinthians 2:9 promises, No eye has seen, no ear has heard, no human mind has conceived the things God has prepared for those who love him. You are not laboring in vain. You are not enduring for nothing. You are not sacrificing into a void. Every unseen moment of obedience is accumulating weight in the spirit realm, and when the tipping point comes, what you have sown in secret will explode into harvest in public. The world may label you foolish. The world may mock your purity. The world may scoff at your fire. Let them. Because when the shaking intensifies, when the systems crumble, when the illusion collapses, they will remember the ones who stood firm when everything else was falling. They will remember the ones who loved when hatred was popular. They will remember the ones who spoke truth when silence was safe. And when they come running, when they come broken and desperate and searching for answers, you will not have to preach with words. Your life will preach louder than any sermon ever could. Your peace will scream louder than their fear. Your joy will outshine their despair. Your love will disarm their bitterness, and in that moment you will realize every tear was worth it. Every battle was worth it. Every hidden yes was worth it. Because you were not just chosen to survive the shaking, you were chosen to lead through it. You were chosen to be the bridge, the beacon, the living proof that God's promises are true, His love is real, and His kingdom is unshakable. The final step is not waiting for you somewhere out there. The final step is waiting for you to step into it, now, today. This is your hour. This is your destiny. This is your moment. Will you rise? The fire you're walking through is the door you prayed would open. The days ahead will test everything inside you, not just your words, but your resolve, not just your passion, but your perseverance. It will be easy to start, harder to endure. In the beginning, the fire will be fresh. The excitement will fuel your feet, but when the novelty fades, when the path grows darker and the crowd grows thinner, you will find out what you are really made of. Because true faith is not proven in the shouting at the start line. It is proven in the silent, stubborn steps taken when no one is cheering and everything in you aches to turn back. There will be moments when the weight of your calling feels unbearable, when your heart will cry out for simpler times, easier roads, lighter burdens. You will look around and see others who chose comfort over calling, and you will wonder if you made the wrong choice. You will wrestle with doubt, exhaustion, even anger. You will cry prayers that feel too raw to speak aloud. And yet, if you lean in, if you do not turn away in offense or despair, you will find a treasure hidden only in the wilderness, the intimacy of God, because it is there, in the loneliness, in the stretching, that you encounter the God who is not just distant and holy, but the God who is near and tender. It is there that you hear the whispers no crowded room could ever offer. It is there that you drink from wells you didn't even know existed. The wilderness is not a punishment, it is a proving ground. It is where your roots grow deep enough to anchor you in the hurricane that is coming. And make no mistake, a hurricane is coming, not just of circumstances, but of spirit. The division between those who truly know God and those who only know about Him will become stark and irreversible. The shallow roots of cultural Christianity will not survive the pressure. Only the deeply planted will stand. Only those who have been hidden in the secret place, who have learned to feast on manna when there was no bread, who have sung songs of praise when there was no breakthrough. Only they will shine when everything else collapses into ash. This is why you cannot afford to play small anymore. You cannot afford to minimize what God has spoken to you in the quiet, because it does not fit the mold of what is currently celebrated. The kingdom of God was never built by popular opinion. It was built by burning hearts who said yes when it cost everything. Men like Noah, who built an ark under clear skies and endured 100 years of ridicule. Women like Esther, who risked her very life to stand before a king for her people. Saints like Paul, who counted all earthly gain as loss compared to the surpassing worth of knowing Christ. And now, your name is being written into that same story, not because you sought greatness, but because you dared to be faithful. Not because you chased platforms, but because you clung to His presence. And as the pressure increases, so will the glory. As the darkness deepens, so will the light within you burn hotter, brighter, stronger. It is not arrogance to recognize the anointing you carry. It is stewardship. It is obedience to walk in the authority you have been given, not for your own fame, but for His. You will begin to see things shift around you. Relationships will either deepen or dissolve. Opportunities will either align with your assignment or reveal their true intentions. Hidden motives will come to the surface. What was once tolerated will now feel unbearable. What once entertained you will now grieve your spirit. This is not regression, this is refinement. It is the Spirit of God tuning your heart to a higher frequency, a frequency that cuts through the noise of a dying world and locks you onto the voice of the living God. There will be days when you feel out of step with the people around you, when you feel like an alien in your own land. But do not mistake isolation for abandonment. You are not alone. You are being set apart. And you are not the only one. Across the earth, other chosen ones are waking up. In cities, in villages, in prisons and palaces, in boardrooms and back alleys, the Spirit is stirring hearts, calling sons and daughters to rise, to remember who they are, to step into the roles heaven ordained for them before the foundation of the world. You are part of a great uprising, a holy revolution that will not be televised or celebrated by the systems of men. It will be marked by lives laid down, by prayers whispered in secret, by sacrifices unseen by human eyes but recorded by the eyes of heaven. This uprising will not wear crowns of gold but crowns of obedience. It will not build monuments of pride but altars of surrender, and its impact will echo into eternity long after the lights of this world have gone dim. So do not be discouraged when the path gets harder. Do not be dismayed when it feels like you are losing more than you are gaining. Heaven measures success differently than the world does. Heaven is not counting your followers. Heaven is weighing your faithfulness. Heaven is not recording your likes and shares. Heaven is capturing your unseen sacrifices, your hidden victories, your quiet yes in the face of overwhelming no. And when the final reckoning comes, when the scrolls are unrolled and the hidden things are revealed, it will not be the celebrities or the influencers who are honored first. It will be the nameless, faceless servants who carried fire when the world went cold, who wept between the porch and the altar, who refused to bow to the idols of comfort and conformity, who loved with ferocity when it would have been easier to hate. You, chosen one, are being invited into that legacy. You are being called higher, deeper, further than you ever imagined possible. You are being equipped not just for survival, but for spiritual warfare. You are being trained not just for personal breakthrough, but for generational impact. Every day you wake up and choose obedience over ease, you are building an altar that will outlast you. Every time you forgive when you could have cursed. Every time you love when you could have withdrawn. Every time you worship when you could have wept in bitterness. You are winning a war that the world cannot see. And the ripple effects of your faithfulness will touch lives you will never meet, will spark revivals you will never attend, will plant seeds in places your feet will never tread. You are part of something so much bigger than yourself, bigger than this moment, bigger than anything you can comprehend. So rise with resolve. Walk with the weight of glory on your shoulders and the fire of heaven in your chest. Speak with the authority of one who has been sent, not one who is seeking. Love with the reckless abandon of one who knows their source will never run dry. You are not here by accident. You are not rising by coincidence. You have been handpicked by the King for this final step. Step into it, fully, boldly, now. Some doors are meant to close because your spirit outgrew the room. In the coming days, you will notice a separation that is sharper than anything you have witnessed before. Not the separation of mere circumstances or opinions, but the great spiritual divide that heaven itself is orchestrating. Those who are rooted in truth will rise, and those who are anchored in illusions will fall away. It will not be because God rejected them, but because the shaking is revealing where every heart truly stands. This is not a season where neutrality will survive. Indecision will crumble under the weight of urgency. Half-hearted faith will be exposed for what it is, and casual belief will be crushed by the gravity of the moment. You must understand, chosen one, that you were prepared for this very hour. Long before the chaos intensified, long before the news headlines turned into a daily drumbeat of despair, heaven had already seen this moment, and heaven had already decided that you would be alive for it. Not as a spectator, but as a pillar. Not to blend into the confusion, but to be a beacon of unwavering clarity when everything else becomes a blur. Your assignment was etched into eternity before your first breath filled your lungs, and now it is coming alive in you with a force you can no longer ignore. This is why the battles have been fierce. This is why the refining has been relentless. It was never to destroy you. It was to forge you into someone the shaking could not break. It was to strip away every false crutch so that you would lean fully on the rock that cannot be moved. It was to silence every counterfeit voice so that only His voice would govern your steps. The warfare you endured in private was training for the leadership you are about to step into publicly. The crushing you survived was preparation for the oil you are now about to pour. You are carrying something now that hell fears and heaven treasures. You are not just an individual walking through history. You are a vessel carrying a move of God. And make no mistake, the enemy knows it. That is why you have faced so many attacks that made no sense to those around you. That is why you were misunderstood, misjudged, even abandoned. Not because you were wrong, but because you were marked for revival, marked for breakthrough, marked for the revealing of God's glory in a generation that has almost forgotten what glory even looks like. But now, the time of hiddenness is ending. The season of preparation is giving way to the season of manifestation. Doors that no man could open are about to swing wide. Platforms you didn't build are about to be handed to you. Not because you demanded them, but because you were faithful when nobody was watching, because you chose purity when compromise would have been easier, because you clung to the promise when giving up would have been justified. Heaven keeps perfect records. Not one tear you cried, not one prayer you prayed, not one act of obedience you offered went unnoticed. And now, heaven is responding. The King is calling you forward. Not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. Not because you have it all figured out, but because you have said yes at every critical crossroads. And your yes has created a momentum in the spirit realm that cannot be stopped. It is gathering force like a tidal wave, and soon it will crash into the natural realm with undeniable power. You will feel it first in your spirit, like a deep knowing that something is shifting, even before anything visible changes. You will find yourself speaking with an authority that surprises even you. You will move through spaces you once thought were closed to you, not because you forced your way in, but because the favor of God will go before you like a battering ram. Walls of resistance will fall, chains of limitation will shatter, and those who once dismissed you will be forced to recognize that it was never about you. It was about the one who sent you. But be warned, with great elevation comes great temptation. The enemy will not sit idly by as you step into your assignment. He will attempt to lure you into pride, into self-reliance, into distraction. He will try to make you believe that the anointing on your life is yours to manipulate, to market, to merchandise. Resist him. Stay low. Stay hidden in the heart of God. Remember that the same fire that empowers also purifies. The same anointing that lifts you will consume you if you try to carry it outside of surrender. You must remain ruthless about your alignment, ruthless about your obedience, ruthless about your intimacy with God, because the moment you begin to prioritize the platform over the presence, you will have already lost what made you powerful, and what is coming will require not just giftedness, but holiness, not just charisma, but consecration, not just influence, but integrity. You were not chosen to entertain, you were chosen to embody. You were not anointed to gather applause, you were anointed to carry glory. You are not stepping into a season of easy blessings, you are stepping into a season of holy burdens. You will weep for the lost, you will fast for the prodigals, you will intercede for cities. You will stand in the gap for a generation teetering on the edge of destruction, and it will cost you more than you ever thought you could give. But what you will receive in return will be immeasurable. The glory that is coming will make every sacrifice seem small. The miracles that will flow through your hands will make every tear you shed feel like a seed well sown. The lives transformed by your obedience will stand as living testimonies that it was all worth it. You will not just see revival, you will become revival. You will not just witness history, you will make it. And when the story of this generation is written, it will not be the names on billboards that heaven will highlight. It will be the nameless intercessors who travailed in secret. It will be the hidden ones who chose the secret place over the spotlight. It will be those who chose faithfulness over fame, surrender over strategy, obedience over opportunity. And your name will be counted among them. So, rise now, chosen one. Shake off the remnants of fear, cast aside the lingering doubts. The hour is too late, the stakes are too high, the calling is too holy to delay any longer. Lift your head. Strengthen your weak knees, steady your trembling hands. You are not stepping into battle alone. All of heaven is with you. The host of angels is surrounding you. The Spirit of the living God is burning within you. This is your moment. This is your hour. This is the final step before everything changes forever. Step boldly, step fiercely, step humbly. But whatever you do not step back, because the world is waiting, and heaven is watching, and your time is now. This isn't just a season of pain, it's the hour of your rising. Right now, across the invisible realms there is a gathering. Heaven is leaning close, angels are standing at attention, the King himself is watching. There is a call going forth, vibrating through the fibers of your spirit, louder than the noise of the world, stronger than the doubts in your mind. You feel it, you know it. This is not just another inspirational moment. This is destiny colliding with opportunity, eternity intersecting your earthly timeline. The heavens are asking one thing of you. Will you answer the call? If you know deep in your bones that you are one of the chosen, if you feel the undeniable stirring of your spirit, if you have been waiting for a sign to step fully into your divine assignment, this is it, right here, right now. No more delays, no more hesitation, no more shrinking back into the shadows of fear and doubt. It is time to step into the fullness of who you were created to be. It is time to stand boldly and declare your allegiance to the kingdom that cannot be shaken. So I challenge you, I invite you, I urge you with every fiber of conviction in my being. If you know you are chosen, type 777 or I rise in the comments right now. Do not scroll past. Do not think you will come back to it later. Later is the language of the lost. Now is the response of the risen. This is not merely a comment on a video. This is a covenant. This is a sacred signature in the courts of heaven, declaring, I am willing, I am ready, I belong to the army of the living God. When you type those words, when you commit publicly, you are doing something seismic in the spirit realm. You are drawing a line in the sand that no demon in hell can cross. You are placing your name upon the roster of the righteous. You are aligning your voice with the roar of heaven that is about to shake the earth. Make no mistake. Heaven records the yes that is spoken from the depths of your soul. This is not about religious performance. This is not about public approval. This is about sealing your commitment before the King of Kings himself. There is a sacred power unleashed when private convictions are turned into public declarations. Throughout history, every move of God, every revival, every awakening was sparked not by those who believed silently, but by those who declared boldly. Noah built the ark when the skies were clear. Moses stood before Pharaoh when the odds were impossible. Esther entered the throne room at the risk of her life. David ran toward Goliath when everyone else hid. What separated them was not perfection. It was action. It was the choice to say yes when saying no would have been easier. You stand at that same threshold now. Will you be among the ones heaven can trust to move when the trumpet sounds? Will you be counted among the faithful when the world turns cold and cynical? The line is being drawn, and every time you choose faith over fear, every time you say yes instead of staying silent, you add another stone to the unshakable altar of your destiny. If you can feel even a flicker of fire stirring in your chest as you hear these words, that is heaven inviting you. That is the Holy Spirit stirring you. That is your soul recognizing the moment it was born for. Type 777 or I rise now, not because you need validation, not because you are trying to impress anyone, but because the spiritual world responds to action. Because the moment you move your hands in obedience, you move heaven's armies on your behalf. This act of typing, of declaring, may seem small to the natural eye, but in the spirit it thunders like a mighty earthquake. It signals to principalities and powers that another warrior has stood up. Another light bearer has stepped into position. Another champion has risen to carry hope into the darkest places. It is a spiritual covenant, an invisible signature written not in ink but in fire. The heavens record every yes spoken in faith. Your comment becomes a decree. Your decree becomes a door. And through that door, God will lead you into places you could never reach by human strength alone. Do not let fear steal this moment from you. Do not let the enemy rob you of the breakthrough that is just one act of obedience away. Heaven is watching, hell is trembling, and your yes is the key. If you have ever wondered if your life matters, if your choices echo into eternity, hear me now. They do. This decision, this moment, this simple act of public agreement is one of those eternal echoes. The angels rejoice over one soul who says yes. How much more will heaven rejoice when an army of chosen ones rises in one accord, declaring boldly and without shame, I rise. Let your voice join the chorus. Let your fingers become the pen that writes your name among the ranks of the courageous. Declare it now. Seal it now. Act now. Comment 777 or I rise, not just as an interaction, but as a living sacrifice of obedience, a signal flare shot into the spiritual skies saying, Here I am, Lord, send me. This is not symbolic. This is not optional. This is covenant. This is legacy. This is the moment that eternity will remember you by. This is the hour where heaven takes note, where angels record, where destinies are solidified. Refuse to leave this moment unmarked. Refuse to walk away unsealed. Take your place, make your stand. Burn your yes into the pages of history. You were not called to live hidden. You were not saved to stay silent. You were chosen to be a light in the shaking, a voice in the confusion, a beacon for the broken. This world is desperate for the truth you carry. Do not hide it. Do not bury it. Let it blaze. If you know that you are chosen for such a time as this, don't hesitate. Don't second guess. Don't apologize. Comment 777 or I rise now. Declare it with your hands, with your heart, with your soul. Let your yes be loud. Let it be bold. Let it be written across the heavens like a banner of victory. The King is calling. The hour is urgent. The need is great. And you are ready. Rise, chosen one. Rise. Heaven has been waiting for your yes longer than you realize. There comes a moment when destiny no longer knocks softly at the door, but pounds with a force that shakes the entire house. That moment is now. The seasons of preparation, the years of hidden battles, the silent yeses spoken in the dark when no one else was watching, they have all led to this divine intersection between who you have been and who you are about to become. The weight you feel in your spirit is not random. It is heaven's mantle being laid across your shoulders. It is the King's signet ring being pressed into your hand. You have not been forgotten. You have been forged. You have not been overlooked. You have been reserved. As the world accelerates toward uncertainty, your steps must become more deliberate, more anchored in the certainty of who God is and who He says you are. You were never meant to be defined by the instability around you. You were meant to be the stable one in the middle of the storm. You were not an afterthought, you were an answer. And the world needs your voice, your fire, your faith, more now than ever before. Do not waste this sacred hour trying to fit into spaces that were never meant to contain you. Do not water down the power within you to make others comfortable. You were not called to blend in. You were called to be set apart, to burn brighter, to stand taller, to love deep. There will be moments ahead when fear will whisper that the risk is too great, that the cost is too high. But remember, every step of obedience carries a reward that far outweighs the sacrifice. Heaven has already gone before you. Angels are already preparing the way. The breakthroughs you have prayed for, the miracles you have longed for, the harvest you have sown in tears for, it is closer than you dare to believe. Lift your head, chosen one. The same God who began the good work in you is faithful to complete it, and the world is about to see what heaven already knows. Your time has come. Rise now without fear, without apology, without hesitation, for the glory ahead far surpasses the pain behind.